In the previous lesson, we were looking at jQuery and how we can add in jQuery to add some dynamic functionality into our website. So we saw that jQuery can select your window information, and we could see that we could get the location, the href, and that we could find the position of where the slash was and trim out the rest of that domain content and utilize only that, returning back that page information. So let's take this one step further, and with jQuery you have access to anything that's available within the page. So if we've got a series of IDs or we have a series of classes, we can really easily access those and make interactions using jQuery. So this one here is going to be located, so it works the same way as CSS, and this is one of the real benefits of jQuery because they have made it very similar to CSS. So now that we know we've got header, nav, ul, li, we can make a selection of that particular element. So let's try to do header. And maybe we don't need to be as specific. So maybe let's just do ul, li, a, and we're going to use a selector. So much like what we do when we use CSS, we're going to do href, and we're going to find where href is equal to, and so we're going to use this value that we're pulling out here. So maybe we can put it into a variable for a little bit better readability. So I'll call it something like page path, and this is just to store that value. It's going to be the same thing, and I put it in there. And now let's add that in over here. So we're going to add that in as the page path. So if it's equal to, and this is where we add the page path in. So if this value is equal to the page path value, then what we want to do is simply add a class. And they do have built-in functionality for this as well. So we're going to add class, and then we just need to select that class name. So I believe it was selected. And so notice here that it's adding a second quote, and that's because I don't have it quoted properly here, so I don't have it closed off properly because I've got this heading opened over here, and I need to add in another one here. So let's update this quotes here. So we've added in the path and we've opened and closed it. We need to get a bracket and we need another quote. So I believe that this should now close this off, and this is one of the things that I like about brackets is that we can see where we're opening and closing. So sometimes this gets a little bit confusing because there's a lot of opening and closings. So let's try this out and see if this actually works out, or see if it throws any errors. So we can see that now whenever we go to the page that it's actually adding in the class. And this is the beauty of jQuery when we look at our HTML code and we open up that one that we're on that correct page, that it does have that selected. And this is going to be the same thing when we go over to here, that it actually updates that HTML code, adds in selected class, and we can see the results here when we navigate through our website. So this is a quick way to add in a dynamic updating selected class within your web page. And this will work if you have multiple menu items here, and if you don't want to go through the trouble of actually updating each and every one, you want to add this in dynamically. This is a great way to do it. And I know I've gone through jQuery rather quickly, but jQuery is really usable, and there's quite a lot with jQuery. So if you do want to find out more about jQuery, there's a jQuery.com where you could definitely find out a lot more information about how to utilize jQuery. And really the benefit of jQuery is that it's just really easy to use. It just makes sense. And as you can see, what we've gone through here, it's very similar to CSS, where we make our selector and we can add in those classes and so on. So all we've done here is we've put in essentially a condition here, and we could do this within our within CSS as well, where we could select particular parts of the HTML and then add some styling, but in this case we're actually utilizing jQuery to add in that class.